Okay, so that's the body. Now let's go on to finance. Okay, any body questions before finance? Okay, so the way God structured the world is that we have to work to eat. Okay, any of you are Russian? Okay, so you've heard that more than once, haven't you? Okay. So he did this for the reasons we learned yesterday. However, again, the roots belong to God, the outcomes belong to us. So you should make efforts in order to see that you earn a sufficient living, but don't think that your efforts are going to determine the outcome. So here are the ways we'll divide this course. First, how do you know what career to pursue? So Chovot HaLevavot breaks it down into asking yourself several questions. First question, what are the gifts and abilities God gave me? He probably wants me to use them as opposed to what? Trash them. Okay? Usually people like what they're good at. So first look for a career that's in something you're good at and you like. So this, let's say that leaves many doors still open. You like a lot of things. You're good at a lot of things. Okay? Go on to the next question. What's actually available in my time and place? It's God's providence that made you live in this century, not some other century, where you happen to be, not some other area. So therefore, look around and see what's actually available. So that means if you say I would be a great world ruler, but nobody seems to be looking for one, look further, okay? Next, if there are still several possibilities, which usually there are, ask, what does the society in which I'm living need the most? So for instance, if you're living in a society that's very gray and very limited, and people have lost track of their spiritual aspirations, and you're a good artist, but you could also be a good accountant, that society requires art more than it needs accounting. Conversely, if you're in a society where everybody's trying to find themselves but nobody has their feet on the floor, maybe accounting would be a better career. Okay, clear? Next, look at people who pursue whatever career goal you had in mind for yourself, and look at what they look like towards the end of their careers. How does the career mold them? So for instance, a lot of my relatives are lawyers, okay? So what does a person look like at the end of the day if they're in, let's say, what's the worst law? The worst law is family law. What do you look like at the end of the day, 20 years of family law?
Exhausted.
What?
Exhausted.
Emotionally exhausted, cynical, unwilling to invest your emotions into anything or anyone. Okay, clear? So if you like law, that may not be where you need to go. Okay, clear? How do people look at the end of a career in corporate law?
Rich.
Hopefully rich. But besides that, it doesn't affect the personality all that much one way or the other. Okay, so it's a much less risky place to be than family law. Okay, clear? Next, last. What will get me the most money? So it's on the page, but it's not number one. The reason it's not number one is most people spend most of their time working. I hope this isn't too shocking for you to hear. So since most people spend most of their time working, using what you have towards something that's important is more important than earning lots and lots of money. Okay, clear? Okay, so that's how to choose a career. So you choose a career. You either succeed or you don't. So if you're putting forth the amount of effort that's normal, get the equation, normal in your time and in your place, what you get is what God wants you to have. So this varies from career to career. If you're in corporate law, what's a normal work week?
80 hours.
Not 80, 70. 70, okay. Terrible, terrible workload. Okay, if you're in psychology, what's a normal work week? 15, 16 hours. Okay, so you realize this. So if you're in corporate law and you think you could make it by working 16 hours, you're wrong. You're not making sufficient effort. If you're a psychologist and you're taking 70 hours worth of clients a week, then you're going far, you're over the top. Okay, clear? Okay, so that may mean that what God thinks is enough is not what you think is enough. You would like to earn more and more and more and more. Why would I say just work what's normal? How much is a normal work week in Israel, do you think? It's actually government controlled here. Do you know?
50 hours, 45.
45. So if somebody, after 45 hours of work, and it could happen if what their talents are is in a field that isn't particularly high paying, they could realize, well, wow, if this is all I work, if I don't take a second job, I won't have and then you have your whole wish, I'll never have a great vacation, I'll never do this, I'll never do that, okay, yeah? What God is telling you is that life isn't only work. Get a life. Have relationships with people. Study, pray, do things that have eternal value. Volunteer for a chesed. Okay, clear? That's going to get you more than taking a second job will get you. Clear? Okay. So let's say, here are two extremes. Let's say you find yourself in financial distress. What should you assume? Assume that God wants you to live simply. Assume that that's what He has in store for you. So the problem in today's society is people don't even know what simply means. Could you see where this is set? Okay. What don't you do if you're in financial distress? It's forbidden in halacha to borrow money unless you have a defined, clear, logical way of repayment. This even includes credit cards. Okay, clear? Okay, what else don't you do? You don't feel depressed because you don't have what other people have. You have exactly what you're supposed to have. Okay, the other extreme. Suppose you're enormously successful financially. So the first thing is you attribute it to God, and you ask, what does He want me to do with my money? So what are some good answers besides, eating, drinking, sleeping? Charity, giving free loans, contributing towards public projects. But here's what's not on the list. Living ostentatiously isn't good for anybody, no matter how much money they have. Okay, so that's financial. Let's go to emotional.